So I've got a message here from someone, and this is a very common question, which is surely not counting calories can't be right, because I'll just eat too much and put weight on. Yeah. So I get asked that a lot, or want clarification on it. No, don't bother counting calories. So a lot of people don't realize where we get the concept of calories from. So what they do is they burn food and measure how much heat it gives off. And then it gets its calorific value. And the idea is that that amount of energy is what is burned in our body, and that either gets stored as fat or used in some process in our bodies. But obviously, if you have too much of it, it's going to be stored as fat. Surely, yeah. And I always put surely, that's the thing that makes me laugh. So, no, not quite. So, yeah, sure, if you had an extra 1,000 calories a day, you're going to get fat. 1,000 calories more than you need, you're going to get fat. Most people. But what actually happens is, if you're eating real food, and that includes food with fat in it, and this is a big thing that where people go wrong, you self-regulate far more if you're eating real food. So you don't need to count the calories. In fact, very quickly, your body is happy with a deficit because it has access to the fat on your body. And the way we do that is to be more interested in the amount of carbohydrate we're having. Because if we have a lot of carbohydrate, the body's got no need to use the fat on your body as fuel. So if you're going to count anything, count carbs. That's what I say. But even that, I think if you're eating real food, so years ago in the 70s, people used to have meat and 2 veg. And there was very few fat people around back then. They also weren't having 6 meals a day. They're having 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, and their tea in the evening. And there was very few fat people around in the 70s. There were exceptions, obviously, but it's not really about the calories. It's about the hormonal effect of the macros in your food. So that's protein, fat, and carbohydrate. And where we've sort of lost the plot in the last 50 years or so is that we've gone down this carbs are good, healthy grains, pasta, bread, and stuff like this. And actually, it's not. It's that stuff that's causing the problem. But if we go back to real food, we can eat, feel full till our next meal, and we don't need to bother about the calories. And that's what I teach my clients. And the first thing I have to do is get them to unlearn calories in, calories out. The second thing I have to get them to unlearn is, but fat makes you drop down dead with a heart attack, eggs have got cholesterol in them. These sorts of things, you've got to get them out of your brain so you can get stuff that works in, yeah? So, yeah, you don't have to count calories. The other thing about counting calories, of course, is, well, what do you do when you come off your diet? I mean, it's a real pain, isn't it? So, what happens? Well, you stop counting the calories, you're not keeping track of what you're eating, you eat more, the weight goes up, and you're back where you were. Whereas with my approach is you're eating real food. You might start off having some idea of foods that are high in carbohydrate, but once you've got that in your head and you're eating pretty much whatever you want bar a few certain foods or a mixture of foods maybe, you're sorted for the rest of your life. You'll never be on a diet. You're just eating healthy food, real food. I'm a big fan of eating stuff that doesn't come in tins and packets. People enjoying making something with real food and getting the satisfaction of making it and eating it. So if you can avoid packet stuff, then you're sort of halfway there, really. I do have to do a bit of work with people who don't like the idea of preparing food themselves. Well, you know, that's partly my job to help people with adjusting to that and changing the way what they believe about what they can and can't do in their busy life. So there you go. No, you don't have to count calories. In fact, it's counterproductive, because you tend to think, well, there's far more calories in fat per gram than protein and carbs. So we'll stick to the protein and the carbs, and get rid of the fat, and we'll have everything low fat. Well, the not having the fat just makes you really hungry, and people who go low protein as well, also that makes you really hungry. So no, you want to bring the carbs down, and then very quickly you'll get access to the fat on your body, and then you won't feel hungry. So that's why I say, the way I work, you won't feel hungry. And they don't believe me, but it's true. And they start to lose weight. And you've just got to get some of these ideas that were drummed into us out of your head and replace them with stuff that has some ability to sustain weight loss over the long term. Okay, hope that was useful. I hope that answered this particular question anyway that you may have had. Cheers, all the best.